everybody. Welcome back to another episode of So You Want to Lead a Party? My name's Nate.
I'm Reagan. And welcome to our AOC Nancy Reagan episode. So let's jump right on in with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, born October 13th, 1989. She is the U.S. representative for New York's 14th Congressional District, and she took office when she was 29. She attended Boston University, where she was a double major in international relations and economics and graduated cum laude. She advocates for a lot of progressive, such as Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, a job
Joining the advanced world.
Yeah, a Green New Deal, and abolishing U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. Now, part of the reason why she wants to abolish that is that while she was in college, she was an intern for Ted Kennedy. And as a Spanish speaker, she handled a lot of those calls that were coming into his office related to immigration and what people could do to prevent having these agents coming into their home and taking away members of their family. She came in second in the microbiology category at Intel's International Science and Engineering Fair in 2007 with a research project on antioxidants and the lifespan of nematode, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the rest of that word. So with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she is an interesting figure and someone that has utilized social media very effectively. She has the ideals that match what a lot of people in our society want. They want to be able to go see a doctor. They want to be able to go see a therapist. They want to be able to go to college, to be able to go to a park and not have to worry about, am I going to have to hunker down in my home for 3 months at a time because we're not taking care of not only ourselves, but each other and this entire planet. What I find most upsetting is that she did exactly what we have been told all our lives to do. Study in school, work hard, go to college, get a job, become a part of your community. She did all of that. And yet she is constantly hammered by people saying, we don't need to listen to you because you used to be a waitress and a bartender. So you tell us that to do exactly what she did, yet if we do exactly what she did and you disagree with us, then we are not viable for you to listen to. And if you look at Lauren Boebert, I think I'm pronouncing her last name correctly.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she worked at McDonald's. She got a GED, but because she says what you like, she's intelligent, and this other woman is not intelligent. And I'm not saying that getting a GED does not make you intelligent. You're getting a GED or you graduating on time with your high school diploma does not equate intelligence. It means that you completed your schooling, and great for you. Congratulations. I'm glad that she did complete her schooling. Getting a college degree does not mean that you're smarter than someone with a GED, but yet you do have these two women that are American success stories, but one, it depends on whose team you're playing for, kind of thing. And I think that that's just ridiculous and reductive. And also it's confusing. It really is. So what do you want us to tell the kids? Do you want us to tell the kids work hard, study, go to school, and make something of yourself? Or do you want us to tell them, well, do what we say, but don't ever disagree with anybody?
The answer is yes. The answer is also no. It's a trap, right? It's a friggin' trap. It's a trap that the patriarchy lays for women, especially, right? There's be successful, be aggressive, be take these traditionally male attributes and use them for your own power, but not too far, right? Only to the far where we aren't threatened. And I say we meaning like straight, white, cisgendered men. So, yeah, it's a complete trap. The patriarchy, man, it's a hell of a drug.
It really is. It really is. And it just brings us all down.
It kills, man.
It all down into the muck. And it's like, for what?
All right, everyone. Here is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as I see her. I decided to make her a variant human, which does grant you an additional feature called a feat at the first level. With her, I decided to give her the Magic Initiate feat, which gives her a couple of extra cantrips and a spell to play with. Class-wise, I decided to make her a Bard of the College of Eloquence. I wasn't exactly sure how high to level her, so I leveled her at 5. One of the things I really like about bards in general, and I feel is true with AOC as a bard in particular, is just how versatile she can be. She has access to healing spells. She can be a diplomat. She can be an advocate. She can help the party. She's decent at combat. I really also enjoy, because for politicians, words are so important. With the College of Eloquence, they're essentially a magic user who uses words as weapons. So I thought that felt thematically appropriate for a young, determined, very passionate and articulate lawmaker who's really, really, really mad about systemic racism, predatory inequality, environmental violations. I forgot to add in there misogyny, which just won't die. Ability scores wise, with the variant human, you get a +1 to 2 ability scores. With bards, charisma is very important. So I maxed out her charisma with dexterity, helping out AC and attacks. So Constitution is not far behind intelligence because she's very smart, and then wisdom and strength, respectively, are they're tied for last, ability score wise. For her initiative, since it is tied to her dexterity, it is +3. Her AC, I decided to give her studded leather armor, which is 12 plus dexterity modifier 3. Spells, I decided to give her a couple of warlock spells from Magic Initiate, including Eldritch Blast as a cantrip, which is a very, very powerful attack cantrip. She also gets Mage Hand and Hex from that warlock initiate. Other spells I thought were very important for her to help her party and to control the battlefield include Heroism, which is able to grant temporary hit points to the party. Enhance Ability, which can be used to help somebody do something well, in addition to the bard already being very good at that. Invisibility, which is very important for a sneaky magic user. And Hypnotic Pattern, which is one of my favorite battlefield control spells, throwing up a blinding pattern that charms anybody that sees it. And the only way for them to get out of it is to have someone shake them out of it once they fall under its spell. So that I feel is a good set of spells for a sneaky magic user like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
This is my Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, aka AOC. For her race, I made her a forest gnome. Forest gnomes are small, yet they are quite powerful. For her class, I made her a bard level 6 and a fighter level 6. She has the charisma. She also has the strength of a fighter. She possesses a high level of charisma because she was able to successfully campaign against an incumbent and utilizes social media successfully. She's fighting for access to medical, free college, and for the environment, and has been involved for politics if you include her internships and also her organizing and her activism. I felt that 12 was better than giving her 2 for her time in Congress. For her ability scores, you're going to really push the dexterity and the charisma. Dexterity because of the fighter, charisma because of the bard. After that, you're looking at constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and strength. As a fighter, as a bard, she doesn't have to rely so much on her strength and wisdom. She really needs to push that constitution. Her initiative is a +7 and her armor class is a 17. I was able to get her armor class up relatively high because being a gnome, I can't put her in full plate armor, so I had to use studded leather. As a bard, she has a few spells that she can use. Enemies abound. You use this on anyone that you're fighting against, and they see everyone as someone they have to fight or run away from. Clairvoyant, you're able to read your someone's mind to figure out if they're an enemy or a friend or what they have planned next. Silence is something great to use against another spellcaster because then they can't cast that spell. Suggestion, you have to be very careful with. With suggestion, you have to specifically plan out what you're going to say because you can't make someone kill themselves or kill their friend. You have to make them do something that they would normally do. It's sort of like Inception, but without a train going through traffic. And Lehman's Tiny Hut is one of my favorite ones because it's a great way to protect you and your party.
Nancy Reagan, a first lady, born 1921, passed away in 2016. She and Ronnie met in Hollywood. She was an actress in the 40s and 50s. She starred in films like The Next Voice You Hear, Night into Morning, and Donovan's Brain. She was the First Lady of California when her husband was governor, 1967 to 1975, and she began to work with the Foster Grandparents Program. She became First Lady of the United States in January of 1981. She championed recreational drug prevention causes when she founded the Just Say No drug awareness campaign. She devoted a lot of time to caring for her husband. They were hopelessly devoted to each other. And she remained devoted to him for the rest of his life. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 1994. He died at 93 in June of 2004. Nancy remained active within her husband's library and in politics, particularly in support of embryonic stem cell research, particularly geared towards addressing Alzheimer's, finding treatments for it. Very thoughtful and committed work from her on that. Until she died of congestive heart failure at age 94 on March the 6th of 2016. Nancy Reagan.
So this is my Nancy Reagan, aka Anne Frances Robbins build. Anne Frances Robbins is actually her birth name. Her race is a satyr. She was an actress, and this is actually how she met Ronald Reagan. Her class for this one is Bard, again going back to her acting career and looking at the support that she was able to garner for her Just Say No to Drugs campaign. I chose Creation Bard because she often played a wife, and her nickname from her husband was Mummy. Her Just Say No program began through visits to schools and interactions with students, and she dated Clark Gable. For her ability scores, I really pushed up dexterity and charisma. Charisma because she is a bard. After that, you're looking at constitution, and then intelligence, and lastly, wisdom and strength. Her initiative is a +8, which is good, but her armor class is a bit low with a 15. I didn't want to put her in too much armor. That didn't go great with a bard. Also, she has her spells to protect her. Speaking of the spells, I chose Psychic Scream. That's actually where you are able to create a psychic disturbance for one of your enemies. True Polymorph. She's able to change into other creatures. True Resurrection. She's able to bring back someone as long as they did not die of old age. Aura of Life and Mass Suggestion. Mass Suggestion is actually really interesting, but I chose it because, again, going back to how much support she was able to garner for her Just Say No to Drugs program, and then bring her husband into that fold.
Right, so Nancy Reagan. Racially, I found her as, I think she is very much about glamour. And what's more glamorous in D&D land than an actual Fey elf? I decided to make her an Eladrin, an elf native to the Feywild realm, a wizard of the School of Divination. Now, given that she spent 8 years in both the governor's mansion in California and in the White House, I decided to add those together and make her a level 16 character. With a cloistered scholar background. She was a double major in English and drama, like my partner. I was inspired to make her a divination wizard due to her consulting an astrologer after her husband was shot in 1981. Also, the divination features of the features of this subclass are awesome. It allows you to essentially peek into the future to some degree. She was reportedly very involved in planning social events at the White House. She wanted to bring back the sort of glitz and glamour of state dinners, and apparently staff there reported her being quite demanding, very particular about how she wanted things. So her spells are about that, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. Like you said before, the Just Say No initiative, that is a big sticking point here. It seemed like a magic solution, right? So I decided that why not approach her like a character who honestly does study magic as a way to solve everything, right? Just say no, like magic. Yeah. For her ability scores, intelligence is very important to the wizard. That's what the wizard runs on. So that is maxed at 20, followed very quickly by dexterity, which helps out AC. You get +2 dexterity from the Eladrin. Her constitution, then wisdom, then charisma, and then strength. I did not want to put charisma negative because she was an actress. So strength, though, a wizard should know better. That is okay. All right. And initiative. Due to her dexterity being pretty decent, her initiative is +4. Um, her armor class, though, is not great because wizards do not have any armor proficiencies. So her armor class is 10 plus dexterity, which is +4. So her AC is 15. She's always got always got a lot of defensive spells prepared. Uh, Speaking of spells, I decided to make her very, in accordance with her event planning, very much concerned with controlling things within her space. So Maze is a very powerful 8th level spell which can essentially trap somebody inside of an otherworldly maze. It's very cool. There's Banishment, which she can use to banish someone to another plane, make them be gone. There's Telekinesis, moving things with her mind. There's Find Familiar, which can get her an animal or additional magical creature friend, which she can also use to cast spells through. And she can cast divination spells like Clairvoyance or Arcane Eye or different sort of scouting options like that. Spying, to maybe spy on an individual from afar as rituals, meaning she does not need to expend a spell slot to do so. With somebody who wanted a magic solution, I decided to make her a wizard. There you go.
Once again, it looks like we kind of saw some similarities. You with the fairy, me with satyr, a bard, definite for me because of the charisma, and wizard for you because she was a very intelligent person. She was a very charismatic person. She knew what she wanted, kind of thing, because there were critics who said that she was a good actress, but that a lot of her roles were mostly as mother. And I don't know how true this is, but I guess Ronald Reagan's nickname for her was Mommy, and her nickname for him was Ronnie. But she is quoted as kind of saying that she got into acting because her mom was actually an actress. And because her mom was an actress and divorced at the time, Nancy was actually for about 6 years or so raised by an aunt and an uncle. And she really missed her mom because she loved her mom. Her mom remarried, and then that's when Nancy was able to become part of the family. And her stepfather, Dr. Davis, adopted her, and that's where she got her last name Davis from. And she's quoted as saying that when she got into acting, she got into it because she wanted to work until she got married. So that's why I kind of kept it with that whole theme of life and creation for her.
That was super cool, actually, the College of Creation. I hadn't actually I knew that was a new-ish subclass for bards, and I hadn't really looked at that. That's super cool, though.
Yeah, I mean, College of Eloquence is like the bardiest of bards because they can, get everybody to come on board. But that creation, it just seemed to kind of match with her as a person.
Considering she aspired to, that's so interesting what you said about she became an actress because she wasn't married yet. And that is a choice, damn it, right? Like that is something that modern feminism might possibly critique as just being very old-fashioned.
Yes, it is considered old-fashioned, but we also have to take into account that she was growing up at a time that was what you were supposed to do. That is what you were supposed to want for your life. And she chose correctly for herself. She chose a spouse, a partner that she very much loved and who very much loved her. And it seems that their family had success as a family. So that was a good choice for her. I don't think that she would have lasted as an actress much longer because it wasn't in her heart to be an actress. She kind of went into it because her mom went into it. Now, I think that early on, before she started acting, I think that she was a nurse. I think she was a nurse.
That sounds right.
Right. Right. So that definitely goes in with the College of Creation. Yeah.
Nurturing to some degree. Yeah. Yeah. Good choices.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for joining us on another exciting episode of So You Want to Lead a Party? I mean, you don't have to lead a party, but if you decide you want to lead a party, okay. But if you don't want to lead a party, right, either way is perfectly acceptable. All right. As always, whenever you're choosing your characters, choose the character that works best for you. There are never any wrong answers because it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of So You Want to Lead a Party. Please click the subscribe button, the like button, and don't forget to ring the bell. And if you enjoyed this week's episode, check out last week's video or the YouTube suggested videos.